All right. So the first story I've got pulled up today says Vance affirms Trump's health, says he's ready to assume the presidency if needed. Now, why would he say this if Trump is healthy? What's going on with this? So the bias comparison here in the ground news highlight section here, we'll call it. You can click on the left and see like what the summary of what's going on from the left says versus the right. That's something that I realized a couple episodes ago that you could do. And then down here on the right hand side, and I need to turn my cursor back on, but you can see I'll highlight it here. It says bias distribution. And that's where I always come down to look at how things are being reported. You've got 40% sources coming from the right. So because 37% of our sources are coming from the left, it's not really that big of a blind spot issue. This is pretty equally reporting from the left and the right, with 23% of the sources coming from the center. So it's got a lot of sources of untracked bias where they don't know exactly whose bias is what. And then it says 52% of the sources are high factuality or higher. 25% of the sources are independent news, and the Daily Express broke the news in the UK 2 days ago on the 27th. So we'll go ahead and get into an article that I have pulled up from the Independent, because what I like to do is, and if you've watched this show, you already know, I sort my news stories by factuality. You've got in your options here, just like anything else that you would have on any kind of other app, you can sort by factuality, you can sort by most recent, you can sort by bias, by location. You can exclude which factualities you want. Like, oh, I only want to read sources from very low factuality. Oh, doesn't look like there are any. So what about low factuality? Yeah, we got some low factuality there, but why would you want to read from low or very low factuality? So, like I said, I rate my stories. I sort them by factuality, and then I come down here. The raw story was top, but I picked the Independent because as opposed to being hard left, it actually just leans left. So I guess lean left is a little bit less left. It's like closer to the center, maybe. I don't know. But it does have a high factuality rating. So let's get into the story from the Independent. JD Vance says he's ready to take on the presidency if, God forbid, a terrible tragedy happens to Donald Trump. In a wide-ranging interview with USA Today, the vice president said he was confident President Trump would see the rest of his term, but added he has a lot of on-the-job training. He also insisted to White House correspondent Francesca Chambers Trump was in incredibly good health, despite recent questions about the president's physical well-being. Oh, God, look at that. Just, oh, man, you can see his eye makeup, man. That's, he's super masculine. I mean, people would say that I don't really have room to talk, but, you know, I don't know. Anyway, Vance said he's got incredible energy, and while most of the people who work around the president of the United States are younger than he is, I think we find that he's actually the last person who goes to sleep. He's the last person making phone calls at night, and he's the first person who wakes up and the first person making phone calls in the morning. I don't believe that. And if he is, what kind of amphetamines is he on? Just saying. Yes, terrible tragedies happen. I mean, there was rumors back in the Apprentice days that he really liked to be on uppers, you know, and that's why he had to wear a diaper. Just rumors, unsubstantiated rumors that this news source has heard but cannot confirm. Yes, terrible tragedies happen, but I feel very confident the president of the United States is in good shape, is going to serve out the remainder of his term and do great things for the American people. And if, God forbid, there is a terrible tragedy, I can't think of a better on-the-job training than what I've gotten over the last 200 days, he added. I just want to warn everybody that if Trump dies and we get President JD Vance, the corporations will take over even more than they already have. JD Vance is bought and paid for by Peter Thiel, okay? Peter Thiel, the same guy, the same billionaire who started Palantir, the data sorting company. Peter Thiel, the same guy who was involved with Elon Musk during the PayPal days. Like, this is the PayPal mafia taking over the United States government, you guys. How is it? How did these MAGA people not see this? I don't understand. It's crazy. And if God for we read that. So there's a picture of Trump's hand, which is what started all of this talk. I remember seeing a meme of Queen Elizabeth that said this bruise was on her hand 5 days or like 3 days before she died, and then it showed a picture of Trump's hand, and like, okay, it's a liver spot or like it's a bruise. The dude is almost 80 years old. This is what happens to 80-year-old people. Have you ever seen your grandpa's hands? They probably look the same. It doesn't mean he's gonna die tomorrow. It just means that he's old and probably not in the best health. I mean, I'm not trying to defend the guy, and if he keels over, like, you know, but I don't think that President J.D. Vance is a better option. I think the best option is that Trump lives to the end of his term, and we actually have a Democratic election in 2028 where maybe the Democrats get back in control. I don't know. I know that a lot of people wish for Trump's death. I don't wish for his death. I want to make that pretty clear. I don't want the president to die because I don't think that what's waiting in the wings is a better option at all. So, according to the 25th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, the vice president assumes the full title and responsibilities of the president if they die, resign, or are removed from office. There have been 9 instances of a vice president succeeding their president during a term. For example, Calvin Coolidge was the vice president under Warren G. Harding and became the president after Harding died suddenly on August 2nd, 1923. Vance's comments follow recent concerns over Trump's health after visible bruising was spotted on his hands. In a later appearance, the bruising appeared to be covered up by poorly applied makeup. The marks first appeared last summer when the then campaign spokesperson Caroline Leavitt, now White House press secretary, attributed them to Trump's constantly working and shaking hands all day, every day. But questions resurfaced last month after a series of photographs showed Trump's ankles to be very swollen, prompting a memorandum from the physician to the president, Dr. Sean Barbarella, linking the swelling were a result of chronic venous insufficiency, which he called a benign and common condition for someone Trump's age. Okay, so let's see. That bruise is on his right hand, which is the hand that people would be using to shake all the time. So, like, that's a possibility, I guess. It seems like if you're bruising just from having your hand shook, you're probably getting a little bit frail there, buddy. So. Look, he's just the two most masculine dudes in the whole world, right? You know, who we want leading the free world. Earlier this month, President Trump Vance as his heir apparent while praising this sentence doesn't make sense. Earlier this month, President Trump, there should be a comma there, I see. President Trump, Vance as his heir apparent while praising a number of cabinet members that continue the MAGA project into 2028. Nope, that sentence doesn't make sense. Sorry. Trump was asked by Fox News White House correspondent Peter Doocy who would lead MAGA in the next presidential race. This weekend, Secretary of State Rubio said that he thought J.D. Vance would be a great nominee. You could clear the entire Republican field right now. Do you agree that the heir apparent to MAGA is J.D. Vance, Doocy asked?
Well, I think most likely. In all fairness, he's the vice president, and I think Marco is somebody who would get together with J.D. in some form,
Trump replied. So, is he saying like J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio? Is that who we're gonna get? Is that what he's saying? Like, fuck that, Jesus. Okay, so that's the article from The Independent. Hey, thanks for checking out this video from Nightly News this morning. If you wouldn't mind, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video or when we go live on Tuesdays and Fridays.